Hi folks, welcome back to Crown Liquor's video blog. This is Brennan Corder, the Spirit Shaman. I've got a wonderful guest today. We're at the 12th floor of Southern Wine and Spirits up here at 8888 Keystone Crossing. And we've got Mr. Robert Palone, who is a rum ambassador through the Diageo brands, correct?
Correct.
And so we're going to talk a little bit about a couple different brands, and I'm going to ask him a couple critical questions about the evolution of rum and why rum is so important as far as mixology is concerned and kind of where we're going with the market today. So Robert, thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, my pleasure. Pleasure to be with you.
Excellent. So what is the evolution of the rum cocktail, and talk a little bit about some of the critical cocktails that we utilize today in mixology.
Well, the evolution of the cocktail actually all spun around the beginning of America. The colonists, it was actually the first drink of America and played a big part of America gaining its independence from the British. We're now seeing a resurgence of kind of that history of the cocktail coming back to life. You know, the mojito is coming strong. You're also seeing the classic daiquiri, sure, which is coming back, you know, not the frozen concoction that most people think of, the strawberry daiquiri, you know, when they're sitting out the beaches, but the classic of just fresh lime juice, simple syrup, and your rum shaken, poured in a martini glass, cocktail glass.
What about one of the rums back there that you would utilize for the Ernest Hemingway cocktail?
Well, I'm a big fan as far as the Hemingway daiquiri. I kind of prefer a light rum, but it's good to switch it up and use a dark rum for some different complexity. Right here is Oronoco rum, which is from Brazil. It's aged 18 months in Brazilian oak. It's from the very first press of the sugar cane. Okay. So it gives you some really nice flavors that will enhance the cocktail. So of course, you know, ultra premium, when you use a better spirit, you're going to have a better cocktail as well.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the subtle differences of two of the brands that you represent, the Pampero Aniversario and then the Zacapa Solera 23.
Great, yeah, Pampero Aniversario, this brand's been around since 1938. And I like to say that it's not only a hidden gem in the rum world, but also the spirits world. This brand actually, they grow their own sugarcane and they make their own molasses. 98% of rum is made from molasses, and unfortunately today, the rum has been really bastardized by people using a really bad grade molasses. So they use a grade A molasses, and they use a copper pot, old school style of distillation, and age it up to 6 years in whiskey barrels. So you really get some nice nuances of the whiskey and also the old style distilling with the copper pot distillation. Zacapa actually comes from sugar virgin honey, which is the first press of the sugarcane juice, which they condense into a virgin honey form. And nobody outside of Guatemala is actually using this process, which is pretty neat. It goes through 5 days of fermentation, which in the spirits world is a very long time. Sure. They take it 400 miles away, 8,000 feet, up in the mountains for the cool climate. The average temperature is 62 degrees. So you don't have the breathing of the barrels, because what happens is when it's hot, barrels expand, and when it's cool, they contrast. So by having a cool constant temperature, you don't have that, and you just pull out what was previously in the barrel. And got rated one of the top rums in the world 5 consecutive years at the most acclaimed rum festival in the Bahamas.
Sweet. Well, if we should try those side by side and see what they're all about.
Yeah, definitely.
Which one do you want to try first?
Well, let's go into the Pampero first.
Okay.
We'll try the older world style rum, and you kind of pick up with the copper pot distillation. You're going to pick up this kind of barnyard, almost like a burnt caramelization.
Sure,
and you get that effect from the copper pot distillation.
Cool.
And I almost get like a ripe banana peel.
I could see that as well.
To it as well, some tropical fruit, some nice hints of chocolate. What are you picking up off of it?
I think there's certainly a little bit of chocolate there. I think we could also determine there's probably a little bit of you know, dark candied dry fruit as well.
Exactly. Yeah, you definitely pick up a lot of those nuances.
Let's see what's on the palate. Wow, it's got some weight on the palate, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It has a little bit a nice viscosity to it, which is going to give you a nice round flavor. And you get some nice oak that you're going to pick up because...
I think so too. A little bit of vanilla. We talked a little bit, maybe some caramel, some butterscotch perhaps, which certainly comes from the wood.
And you get a nice kind of bitter chocolate on the finish.
I could see that on the finish.
That you're going to get from it.
Absolutely. Let's try the Zacapa here.
Now, Zacapa, you get a completely different nose. You're going to pick up a lot of vanilla, a lot of bourbon, because we are aged in once bourbon barrels and also the bourbon barrels that we char.
And you rechar them, correct?
Correct. We give them a level 5 char, which helps with the color and also the flavor during the aging process.
Cool.
You also get some nice dry fruit tones as well
Sure,
from
I mean,
the sherry.
immediately I picked up like this plum, fig, prune thing going on.
Exactly. You pick up a lot of that. And then from the Pedro Jimenez, you're going to get some of the darker fruits as well, like the cherry. And you're also going to start to pick up some chocolate as well from it.
Cool. So, sounds great. Let's taste it.
Go ahead and taste. As you can see, it's a lot more complex.
I think it has a little bit more
compared to the Pampero. And that's just because we're aged in 5 different barrels.
Sure.
The bourbon, charred bourbon, sherry, Pedro Jimenez, and then in between each one of those barrels, we actually sit in a 25,000 liter American oak vat as well.
Why should we think about high-end rums like the Zacapa XO to be substitutes for high-end single malt scotches, maybe 30 or 40-year-old ports, or maybe a substitute for high-end cognacs? And then if we could taste the XO, I'd love to. So.
Yeah, our Zacapa XO is a phenomenal product. We actually use a different distillate off of our distills, and we basically take a smaller chateau where we discard a lot more of the heads and the tails.
Sure.
It's going to go through the same process used from virgin honey. We age it in bourbon, charred bourbon, the sherry barrels, and Pedro Jimenez barrels, but we take it one step further and finish it off in cognac barrels. And yeah, this one deserves a nice special clean glass, and this is you really don't need to add much to this at all. It goes well just neat, or maybe one ice cube. I prefer it neat, and just off the nose you're going to pick up a lot more.
I'd say it's wonderfully complex. It seems to be more of a cerebral type of beverage.
Exactly.
So not something that's just going to crush shot after shot, but certainly something you want to sit down maybe with a fine cigar perhaps.
Oh, this goes amazing with cigars. This is definitely a sipping rum, and it has a finish that will last about 10 minutes. So, it definitely doesn't need much. It complements well with a nice cigar.
Sure. Well, something else I think I would want for our folks out there to think about, if you're in the corporate world, I think this is a wonderful corporate gift, for some of your senior vice presidents or something along those lines. And if they're single malt scotch drinkers, or if they're really big fans of high-end cognac, I think this certainly fits the bill for the depth of complexity that those types of people are searching for.
Oh, exactly. And by them giving them a rum, you're offering a new experience.
I think so too.
To that I think that the person that you're gifting will definitely appreciate and savor.
Cool. Let's see what it's all about.
So as you can see, compared with the 23, you don't get a lot of the chocolate and the vanilla, and you pick up more honey, and you're going to get a lot more spice.
When I also see, it seems like the cognac starts to come to the forefront as well.
Definitely.
What's the time that it spends in the limousine barrels?
Well, we use the Solera system. Sure. So by law, we have to sit in a minimum of 3 years in the bourbon barrels, and then it sits in about a year and a half in between with the charred American 25,000 liter American oak vat. So it's really up to our master blender. So we're seeing that it's going to be blended up to 25 years.
Okay, fantastic. I think this is a wonderful opportunity to share a super high-end product with your friends and your family and your colleagues that they're normally not going to experience. I mean, a lot of wealthy men and women love to drink single malt scotch. They certainly love high-end cognac, but I think this offers something a little bit unique, particularly when we're going into the holiday season.
Exactly.
So I would certainly encourage you to come check this blog out, and certainly spend a little time with us on Facebook and on Twitter, and certainly say thank you to Robert for his time today. And until we meet again,
my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
Cheers.
So until we see each other again, please raise a glass for me, because I know I'm going to do the same for you. Cheers and best regards.
And always remember to drink responsibly.
There you go.